describe a little bit perhaps how you work with clients. I mean, you mentioned assignments and assessments are tailored. What would a client typically expect when they work with Cognisco? Could you take us through the process there?
Sure. So in order to make sure that we are building something that's relevant, that will be accepted by the target audience, that people can buy into, so we need to ensure high face validity, content validity. So we work with our subject matter experts from the organizations in mind. Now, what I mean by a subject matter expert in our world is not just somebody who understands the policy, the process, the agenda of the assessment itself, but understands what goes on in reality at the front of the business. What happens in any given situation? What should they be doing? What goes wrong? What are the common misunderstandings, common misconceptions that we can build sensible but plausibly incorrect responses to? Because it's learning from the past. So near miss reporting, for example, is a very good way to look at things that have gone wrong. How can we build assessments that actually speak to known misconceptions and things that have gone wrong in the past, to make sure that people can test their experience and their understanding where it's safe to do so. So rather than wait for them to go wrong in situ on the job, that we can assess that their likely behaviour in the background and help to mediate that risk by introducing interventions along the way. Now, you mentioned the leadership capability there. We evolved into writing quite complex situational judgment assessments, as you well know, and you've written some yourself that have played out really, really well. And the good thing about creating situational judgment assessments for leadership is that you can start to assess where people are making good decisions to encourage the behaviours that you need from leaders. And we're not always developing leaders per se, but leadership capability. Leadership capability can play well across many roles, many sectors. And it is, as you say, identifying where they would most benefit from coaching conversations, from further development, and even using what you do to develop their skills in leadership. And then later we can reassess them and see where they've moved to. And there are different ways of doing that too. So situational judgment assessment with confidence will assess their decision makings and therefore likely behaviour in context, but with a corresponding 360 feedback, for example, associated with the same topics, could give them the opportunity to self-rate and have ratings of others as well. And that is much more useful data to an individual trying to develop their capability, because they're not only questioning their own decision making, but they're seeing how they play out and are perceived by others as well.